How you doing, Frank?
I'm good. Good morning.
What is your position?
North Township Trustee.
Okay, well then I'm quite biased toward you and all of the people of North Township, evidently.
Yes, you and Fowler do resemble each other, and Mr. Mrvan also. Didn't he always wear like a brim hat?
And a bow tie sometimes, I think, yeah. You know, he was here when I worked here in the mid-'80s, and I got to know Mrvan. And I tell the story about I went and I covered the East Chicago City Council. And I came back and I couldn't get a story. And it was just, you know, I'm like, why isn't anybody talking to me? And he and Julie and Colby came down the hallway, and they just stood over my desk and they started laughing. They're like, you can't get any information out of East Chicago, huh? And it's getting you frustrated, huh? They said, you're going to have to try a little bit harder.
Right.
And I'll never forget Mrvan telling me that. You're going to have to try a little bit harder. And they thought that was so funny. Sure. That I was screaming and kicking. This is America. They have to give me that information. I'm a journalist. And they just laughed. And
we have
I understand why.
Albert's Diamond Dash, which last year we had we had 100 couples, and it was a hunt through the park for a $20,000 diamond ring. And it was very exciting. It's probably one of the more exciting things we do at Wicker Park, and we're proud to have it. And Josh is with us today from Albert's Jewelers. To talk a little bit about what's coming up, and it's this Sunday, and also just to give the details about a little bit of his store and what he's doing and why he's doing it. Josh.
Hey, Frank. Thanks for having me.
I'm sorry to wake you up, Josh.
Yeah, no, hey, I didn't know when I was going to get called in here. So, I agree. We had such a great time last year. You know, very fortunate that Frank donated the park to let us have this special event, and friends of mine had done it around the country, and we got the idea, and it turned out to be a magnificent event. And you know, we do it for charity. Last year we did it for multiple sclerosis. This year we got teamed up with actually Dwayne Wade and his charity, Wade's World, and each couple makes a charitable donation, and they have the opportunity to do a scavenger hunt through Wicker Park and find a $20,000 diamond ring that we're putting up. So pretty exciting stuff.
What happens at the starting line?
Well, the other thing is, aren't the fiancés handcuffed or tied together?
Yes, they are.
Pure teamwork.
It is pure teamwork. And this last year was unique because it actually finished a lot earlier than we thought it was going to finish. Some couple really figured out our scheme, so we made it much more difficult this year. But
it's around the entire walking path.
It is around the entire walking path. So
Scavenger hunt.
We don't want to let out too much information, but it is before the event. There's registration for a few hours before the event, and couples will be tied together. So it is teamwork where they have to actually go through the park. Each one will get a different clues and different map of the park on what their particular scavenger hunt is. And they have to go around looking for clues, collecting clues, and at the end, you know, the couple who works as a team and gets all the clues first and crosses the finish line will be the winner of the $20,000 diamond ring.
I personally think it's a great test for marriage.
So how do they get tied together? At the leg or the arm or what?
It was the arms.
It was the arms last year, yes.
So you handcuffed them together?
Yeah, I think if we tied them at the legs, I don't know how they'd walk around the whole park. It would really take forever.
But it was they were hand tied by the arms, so they had to work as a team. Correct.
Handcuffed.
Correct.
Yeah, they could not leave partner. Like if they wanted to go get one clue over here and one clue over there, they couldn't. They have to go together, which is
part of marriage.
Part of marriage, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, there are 100 couples you had.
Yes.
And is that what you limited at, or is that?
It is what we manage it best at.
And 100 couples. All right, now how do they get into this?
How do they get into it? Well, they go on our website. We actually have a website for it. It's albertsdiamonddash.com, and they would register on our website, make a charitable donation to Wade's World, and you know, we end up, you know, because we get more than 100 couples who actually want to be involved in this, we have to do it as a lottery system. So we'll pick, you know, random 100 couples out of the entries, and then we notify them by email and call them by phone and ask them to show up this Sunday to you know, to be part of the Diamond Dash.
Okay, so do they have to be getting married?
Yes, These are either couples who are going to be getting engaged or couples who are presently engaged.
All right, I'm looking at
and there's one other thing. They have to be 21 years or older.
21.
Yes.
All right, so you got to be 21, both people.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to be getting married, or I guess gonna be getting married.
Yes.
All right. And what was the other thing you said? They have to be local, or
Josh? No, they don't have to be local.
Whose idea was this? Yours? And some of your friends did this? And
yeah, a few of my friends around the country did it, and I borrowed the idea. I thought it was really clever. I thought it would be great for Northwest Indiana. I'd always been thinking about doing a scavenger hunt for probably more than 10 years, and I saw somebody did it, and I'm like, yeah, we could do this. And we partnered with Frank Mrvan in Wicker Park, and it really was a great fit. And I think everyone who came out last year thoroughly enjoyed themselves.
And not only you get family and friends of the actual couples participating, but it is a spectator sport too. And there are vendors, food vendors, some jewelry vendors. There's a band afterwards, 5'5". So it's a big party, and it's all in the back of the social center on a Sunday.
It's on Sunday, and so what time does the festivities get going? Or
well, registration for the couples is going to be at 1 o'clock. The dash will actually start at 3. So not quite sure exactly how long it's going to take for them to run through the park and get all the clues, but probably somewhere around 4:30 we're thinking is going to be the final. We really would love to invite everyone in Northwest Indiana to come out. It's really going to be a great time. We've got a great band, Boys Are Mean. Good friend of mine, Jack Adams, is going to be there with his band playing. Band's going to be playing during the whole course of the Diamond Dash, so they're going to probably start, I would guess, somewhere around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And the party's going to go until, I think, 7 o'clock. And like Frank said, there'll be food vendors out there. I believe there's going to be a beer garden out there. So lots of fun for everybody. I would love to have a great crowd out there cheering on these young couples who are soon to be engaged or engaged. Somebody's going to win this great diamond ring. And
I'm just thinking about Frank, how long have you been married?
15 years this September.
Now, when you were courting Jane, can you see? I mean, just put yourself handcuffed to her. You're getting married soon, and you're scavenging around Wicker Park, which you would someday be the head of. I mean, how is that going to unfold?
It's going to unfold. Victory, failure's not an option, is how that would unfold. We would do everything we could to win, I'm sure.
By the way, on the chat board, I had to read this one. Just so
I love the chat boards.
By the way, my wife pays the light bill over at Albert's. Evidently, his wife's a big
Albert supporter.
Yeah, a big Albert supporter.
Big fan.
Thank you.
They're out there.
Hey, listen. I guess what I'm when we were getting married, I had this thing that, I started to get involved in picking out some of the things and started to get involved in the whole process, and it went very poorly. And right as we were getting married, it was to the point where I did absolutely nothing going into that. So if it were to happen at a point where it really was kind of tense and so forth, it could go in a lot of different directions. And I got to believe some of these couples are at those points.
Sure.
Where they're already tense because they're getting married.
Right.
They're joining the crew. I mean, what did you see? I mean, were people arguing?
Some were arguing. Some were happy. Frustration, joy. I mean, for the winners, of course. But you have 100 people, one winner. So they weren't arguing. They were just disappointed. We should have went this way. You should have went that way. But it's a good thing.
Some couples were more determined than other couples. It was about, obviously trying to win the diamond ring. But it's also going out on a great Sunday, having a great time, spending time with your future spouse, and enjoying a nice afternoon and doing something fun that's different than the normal. I mean, how often does something like this come up?
I got to give it to you. It's a creative idea.
Well, how Wicker Park ties into it very nicely is we have 100 couples looking at our social center who are getting married. That's why it's a phenomenal cross-marketing technique for us. I know you don't know I think in those terms, but when we're on camera.
I'm looking at you. They're seeing the back of my balding head.
Right. But actually, it's just a nice fit because we have a beautiful facility that people get to see, And 100 people who are getting married, who we want to have get married at Wicker Park. But the exercise within itself is worth seeing. Even if you like Tony, will cross the street from Wicker Park, he should come see this because it's just funny to watch. It's just fun. It's just a good time.
Now, did you guys video this?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Good question. I believe there's going to be for one, there's a video on the website. That's the commercial that we shot. That has a little bit of a take from it. But there will be some videos on YouTube, and we'll post this year's videos on YouTube.
Okay. Can our video guy come out and take video of this?
Absolutely, we would love it.
Because I want to see some of these couples' faces.
No, that would be great.
It's probably some of the same people that walk around Wicker Park on a regular basis.
Correct.
The ones that you see, you could tell the when you walk, and I do Wicker Park probably 3 times a week. You could tell the ones that are married and the ones that are getting married, because the ones that are getting or aren't married yet, both the man and the woman are talking to each other, walking around Wicker Park. And then as you go around and you get a feel of it, then you could tell the couples that have been married a long time. Because on a lot of them, just the woman's talking and the guy's kind of nodding his head. And then there's some that have been married a really long time and they're not talking to each other at all. They're just walking. Speaking of competitive marketplaces, now, Josh, how long has Albert's Jewelers been around?
Albert's has been in business since 1905.
Since 1905. And the very first location was where?
In East Chicago, Indiana, in the harbor.
In the harbor at
Main and Broadway.
Main and Broadway,
Yeah.
And it stayed there for a lot of years. And then when did you move out here in Schererville?
We moved to Schererville 2001.
2001. It's been that long. It's been 10 years already.
Yeah. November will be our 10-year anniversary.
How's it going out there?
You know what? It's been growing great. Beside the last couple of years, obviously we're challenging and you have to make adjustments in business. But other than that, since we moved, I mean, business has been amazing. We've met a lot of new people that I think probably wanted to see us for many, many years that, maybe didn't travel to East Chicago. We also moved our proximity. If you look at a radius on where you're located, when we were located in East Chicago, a third of our radius was in Lake Michigan. So by moving the 11, 12 miles south, all of a sudden we opened up our radius to, if you look at a map and you go 10 miles in every direction, all of a sudden we have a whole new
South County, Illinois.
South County in Illinois. So we really increased our customer base by moving south.
How is it working with your dad?
Working with Dad's great. Dad and I are best friends, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Sometimes working with family can be challenging. You don't always get along, but for the most part, we agree on 95% of the things. And I can't tell you, it's great. My dad is a very unique person. Anybody who's met him, grew up with him, seen him, shopped with him for the last 50 years will know that, and he will do anything to please anybody. And he's just very charitable, very caring person, and been a real pleasure working with my father. I wouldn't have had it any other way.
So you guys have been doing this a long time. You stand behind the counter there, or maybe not so much now, but you stand. People come in and they're getting married and they're looking at rings. How does that go? I mean, is there anything that, all right, if you're thinking of like one couple in your head that came in and they got in a big fight or they decided to get married that day, I mean, you got to have like stories in the trove that you have.
You know what? Whatever you can think of has probably happened. We see, thousands of people a year. Actually well over 100,000 people walk through our doors every single year. And bridal business is our biggest business. It's over 50% of our business is selling engagement rings and diamonds and wedding bands. And I can't tell you, people, there's guys who drop on one knee right in the store and get engaged right on the spot.
Oh, really?
It happens every single day. And
they ask them at the counter?
Yeah, you know how guys shop. You want to go to a million places. You want to search high and low. You want to do this. You know what? They're so nervous, and they're like, they're looking at her, and she's smiling, and she's floating on cloud 9, and she's got the ring on, and she's beaming from ear to ear. And he's like, and you're like, do you want to buy it? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, can she have it?